Welcome to the Embodied Wisdom Podcast.
I know most of us come onto our journey because we needed the light at certain points in our life where we came onto our journey through pain and grief and struggle. And so I'd love to dig into your story about what led you on your journey and on your path to doing the work you do now.
Yeah, absolutely. My journey started with a rock bottom. I think that's what you that's what you're referring to, right? Us needing the light. So
Exactly.
yes. So my rock bottom was around 2015. 2015, yes. And it led up to it, but the really, really dark bits were in 2015. And I was struggling a lot with anxiety and OCD. OCD was literally ruling my life, completely ruling my life. I do you know what OCD is? Is
Yes.
obsessive compulsive disorder, right? So,
Yes.
and you have to, for if there's anybody who's listening who doesn't know, but it's this anxiety disorder where your brain, where your head tells you that you have to do certain things, you have to do certain rituals, and you have to count in a certain number of times. Otherwise, something really bad is going to happen. And it's like catastrophizes everything in your head. And it feels very, very real. Very, very real. Like you have the responsibility and the weight of the world on your shoulders. And I know that rationally it doesn't make sense, but when you're inside, when you're in that space, it really is that bad. And I had about 40 rituals, 40 things, OCDs that I had to do every day. And I was at a point, yeah, was at a point where it would take me about, I was ready to go to work in the morning, handbag, jacket, everything ready. And before I actually left the house, it was about 40 minutes because I couldn't. I was literally like paralyzed with all these things that I had to
Okay,
do.
can we dig into the rituals a little bit? Because here's the
Yeah.
thing. Like when I was a kid, I remember having these little weird things that I do, and I'd be like, why did I do that? Like things I had to do. It never blew up into anything really big like OCD, where I see that people, and this might just be my perspective, but people take those little things and then they start running with it like, oh, we have to do that. So I'd love to know just a few of those little rituals that you had to do before you leave. And then the pressure of like, what did you feel like you were doing them for? Or who did you feel like you were doing them for?
Yeah. So some of the things that I had to do was, for example, so the last thing I did as I was, ready, first of all, there were OCDs while I was getting ready to go to work. So I had to, wash my face, showered, dress and do things in a certain order.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would cause a spiral, like a complete spiral. So I had to do that. And then the last thing that I would do before taking my jacket was put on my jewelry, right? And I would put the jewelry back in the evening and it has to be put in a certain way. And then I would have to put it in the morning in a certain way. And if by any chance I would do it differently, I would have to start it again and then do it until I actually got it exactly right, like how it had to be. It had
Okay.
to be like that, right? And then I had my jacket and my things on, and then I would start checking all of the things in the house. So check all the windows 3 times. Check all the cooker and all the things in the kitchen 3 times. Then make sure we had 2 cats. So make sure that the food is prepared in a certain way and move all the things. Like it was really, really a lot. It was a lot.
Wow.
And what was going on in my head was if I don't do this, something's going to happen to somebody that I love. They're
Okay.
going to get in an accident. Something's going to happen to me while I go to work. Something really bad is going to, I'm going to get a call that something that to me was always something bad happening, either to me or to somebody that I loved. And so I
Wow.
felt like, yeah,
It's like pure superstition kind of.
well, it's anxiety really, but
But
yeah.
but this idea that if I don't do things in this certain order, this very specific way,
Yeah. You
you
you're trying
know,
to what essentially happens now, having dealt with anxiety and helped, then a lot of clients with that as well. So what you're trying to do is predict outcomes, right? So you're trying to calm yourself down And you're trying to predict outcomes in a very irrational way, because obviously the fact that you put on your jewelry in a certain time is not going to have anything to do with whether you're going to get run over by a car or not, isn't it? It doesn't make any sense. But in your head, you're trying to calm yourself down and predicting outcomes as if doing those things gives you any control on what's happening outside. And very often, at least was like that for me, what happens is that you're trying to control because something in your life feels very, very out of control. And so you
Yeah.
already have anxiety about it, and you have to do something, you have to gain some control over something. And I
Yeah.
had no idea, right? I had no idea. I was with my ex-husband at the time, and every time, and I had these things in the morning, I had these things during the day, I had these things before I had to go to bed. Like
Hmm.
when I tell you it was ruling my life, it was literally ruling my life. Like I was wasting hours of my day to do this,
And he probably didn't like it all that much, your rituals.
And he said, "You're crazy," which is
Mhm.
great. It's great to hear. So,
Women actually love hearing that. It's their
yeah,
favorite. I
yes,
love hearing that personally.
right, right,
Mhm.
exactly. It's like, no, you're crazy. You have to stop doing these things. You're acting crazy. And so there was never the empathy of going like, should we do something about it? Should you speak to someone? Like nothing at all. It was always like, you're crazy and all of that. And I mean, I was married with a person with narcissistic traits for 15 years. So here you go. So that was the reality. And I think that now looking back, I think that that's probably what felt really out of control, having being in a relationship with a narcissist for so long. You lose your sense of identity, you're gaslighted every single day into things are like swapped around, they tell you a
It's
certain.
really a safety thing. What I feel like we all have our shit, right? But at the
Yeah.
core, when I start to tap into people's belief, it's almost always goes back to safety. And then below the safety part is okay, so you don't believe you're safe, right? And when we tap into it, it is this overwhelming fear of death.
Yeah.
Right. So we try and control. I might have my ways of controlling my reality. You had OCD,
Mm.
but that's just a symptom of needing to feel control because really we have this massive fear of death, which I think we get to debunk, um,
Yeah.
realize there is no such thing as fear. And when we get to that place, and we know that we're eternal beings, it's like we just have this freedom. Sorry, I just had to interject
That's
that.
but that you're absolutely right. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. You do it for it's your only way for self-preservation at the time, because you
Yeah.
don't have any other tools, because you're not healed yet and you have no idea what you're doing. You don't have anything else. So your brain is in survival, and that's what it's trying to do, literally, right? It's trying to survive, right? So yeah, so that went on for a very long time and it escalated. And then in 2015 was when it was like really, 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 really bad. And I got to a point where I thought, you know what? I have to do something about it, because otherwise I really don't know what's going to happen to me, like what I'm going to do and how I'm going to end up. I really need to speak to someone. So I found a coach. I found a life coach who specialized in anxiety. I knew her from a previous job. She was studying at the time. This was like a few years down the line. She had already, set up her practice and everything. So I thought, oh, look, she's actually dealing specifically with anxiety. Let me go to her. And I started working with her early 2016. And I remember when we did the first session, she asked me, loads of questions, as you do, at first session. They want to know, what brings you here and all this sort of stuff. And I told her about everything in my life, a high pressure job, moving countries, mother wound, all of the things, all of the things. And then at the end, she goes like, so what can you tell me about your husband? And what I said, oh, thank God for him, because he saved me. Right? He saved me. Thank God for him. Thank God he's here. And she's like, okay. So then we started working together, and then we worked together for a year and a half. Well, after a year, and we worked together like weekly and then every couple of weeks. So we sort of like started staggering the sessions. But after a year and a half, I had dropped 20 of the OCDs. After a year, sorry. After a year, I had dropped half of the OCDs that I had. And that was amazing.
Wow.
That was amazing, Tammy, because it just freed space in my head. It just
Yeah.
literally freed up. Imagine like you're decluttering, right? It just freed space in my head. And by freeing that space, I had the opportunity to actually see certain things as they were, not through the filter of survival, not through the filter of anxiety, not through the
Or
filter,
beliefs, which
beliefs.
is what we're filtering everything from. When we get to the core of the beliefs, it's like, oh, no wonder I do this. It's because I'm believing this, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I want to know all about what modalities did she use to really, because every I won't say everyone. There is such a huge chunk of people on the planet right now that are dealing with anxiety.
Yeah.
Anxiety, depression, all that kind of stuff. So what was it that she worked with you on and how?
So a lot of that was purely coaching. Coaching is very different from therapy. So I didn't, it was a very coaching is very interactive. Therapy is very much about talking things and maybe the therapist asks you, a few questions and stuff, but coaching is very much back and forth. It's a lot of back and forth and it's a lot of asking questions in a certain way so you can get to see yourself quicker, right? You can get to your own answers and see yourself quicker. And it was very effective, very, very effective for me. So it woke me up in many, many ways. And then for the OCDs specifically, we used cognitive behavioral therapy.
Okay.
So yeah, so we tackled literally every ritual one by one. Like she made me do a list. That's why I know I had 40 because she made me do a list. She made me go through when after the first session, she's like, okay, now pen and paper from tomorrow morning. You're going to start in the day and you're going to write down every single thing that you're doing, why you're doing it, how does it make you feel? What does your head tell you when you're doing it? So like that was
So
already
good.
shocking. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That
That was
is
already
so good.
shocking. Yeah.
Oh, well, like with my work, what I've noticed and what I believe is that everything goes back to trauma. Everything we become, the roles, the personality, everything goes back to the trauma we experienced in the first 5 years. That's what I believe. All the way up to, I mean, it solidifies at 7. Your personality is like solid by 8. And so those first 5 years are so important. So a lot of people look at themselves as adults and they don't know how they get there. And that's because they don't remember those first 5 years. Most of them remember, maybe have one memory in those first 5 years. And yet that was where their whole personality was created, which is why, with my modality, I go straight to the first 5 years. I don't fuck around with adulthood because your adulthood is just, that's where everything kind of gets put into motion and here you are, but that's not where it was created. So um, in your process, I'm sure over that year and a half, you kind of went deeper and deeper and deeper on those layers and levels of how you became this, anxiety filled OCD lady, right? But I want to know, okay, when did the relationship dissolve
After a year and a half.
of
So
that? Okay.
yeah. After a year and a half of that, I had to actually pause the sessions because it came around to be around Christmas time. And at the time I was working in corporate, was events director for a company. So Christmas time was very, very busy. So I said to my coach, look, I have to stop for these 6 weeks and we have to pick up again in January because I just can't do it. It's just too much. It involved like working late and all of that. And I was like, I just have to dedicate myself to that. And I think that that was a really good thing because very often when you press pause and you allow life to happen, you're like, ooh, this has happened, but I can't go to my coach for another 6 weeks because we're on a break. So what do I do? And certain things start to become more and more evident. And that December for me was December 2017 was like super eye-opening, super eye-opening. Yeah. And
I've noticed that with my clients too, is like they almost need that pause to like, okay, you've gained all these tools, now go go, you utilize the tools without me. It's kind of like a test run, and they almost always come back and need some more hand holding through the process. But you're right. I think it's so necessary.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had that break and you became your own coach.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really lead my clients into, is like teaching them how to coach themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's exactly what I did. So I went back to that. I have to say that 6 months prior to that, I went on a holiday over in the US, and I had this beautiful experience in Monument Valley. And I just, it's a highly spiritual place. And I was there. We did a whole sunrise tour. It was just so beautiful. And I found myself there looking at the desert, and I was like, wow, this is insane. I was like, I am so tiny and insignificant. Like, look at the earth and look at how this is so, majestic. And here I am with my problem, and I'm so tiny and so insignificant in a way. And I don't know what that did to me, but it was almost like some awakening happened inside. And I started crying, literally like bawling. And then I thought, you know what? That's it. This is my promise. I'm not gonna ever lie to myself again. That's it. I'm
What
not
did
gonna
you feel like you were lying to yourself about?
relationship, the
Uh,
relationship. I was definitely lying to myself
so
about the
was it that moment, like it all hit you, or did you not realize did you realize it in little parts before that?
No, I think it hit me there. I think it
Okay.
hit me there. I think it was, when you're taken away from your routines and from your like familiar, environments and stuff, and you're
Yes.
thrown somewhere completely different, especially than something so highly spiritual like Monument Valley. It does something to your soul regardless, even if you're like the happiest person. I think, it really does something to your soul. And that was when it hit me, but I really wasn't ready to do anything. I still felt very weak. I still felt very like, with still a lot of anxiety, still a lot of things to work through. But I knew that there was this big thing that I was lying to myself about, and I did not intend to live my life like that anymore. And then fast forward the 6 months around that Christmas time, when I have the break with my coach, and it all started becoming like evident, as in like, okay, this is the time now. I think now I'm ready. I think that this is the, and so I just left.
Wh- when was that? How long ago was that?
So that was January 2018. So it's what, 8 years? No,
Okay.
7 years.
So
Seven.
how's it been going since?
Amazing. It's going amazing. Yes.
Yeah, it can be so simple as just to eliminating the things that are keeping us small, keeping us quiet, holding us back. We don't realize it, right? So much of us until we start to, peel apart those layers.
Yeah.
So then and
Do you want to
I
hear something shocking? Do you want
yes,
to hear something
yes.
shocking? So I didn't go live by myself for a month after I left him, right? I mean I had a place to stay, but it wasn't my own studio.
Right.
It was in a different accommodation. The moment I entered my own studio, got the keys, walked in, that night, I dropped all the rest of the OCDs that I had. Like that. Boom, gone. Did not check the door, did not check the window, did nothing. And I was like, wow, I clearly did.
Whoa.
Clearly the thing that I didn't feel safe with was the person, wasn't it? Clearly. Because I'm by myself, completely, in a new place and everything. And I didn't feel the need to do anything.
That's
Nothing.
wild.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
gone.
Gone. I was like, that's it. I've got this half. There were the bits left.
That's wild.
I had that sense of freedom, the sense of freedom, the fact that I was safe. It was my tiny studio flat, but it was mine and I was safe and I didn't have
Well,
anybody.
safety is a belief, right? Held inside the body, right? I could have, World War III happening around me and still feel safe in my body. Now, not a lot of people have practiced to get to that point, but it is possible, right?
Mhm.
It's learning how to control that inner state, your emotional state. When you wield your own life, you're taking demand of all your thoughts, all your emotions, and who you be in that moment. And when you get to that powerful place, shit, you are just like move out world, like you are owning it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's fast forward into what you really do now and how you help your clients.
Yeah, so I'm a spiritual medium. I'm a
Yeah.
spiritual medium. It's something that had been with me since I was very little. I've always felt energy. I just didn't have the words, to
And
express.
you had to clear out all that shit before you can
Yeah,
really get that's what I've
yeah,
noticed with my clients is once we
yeah.
move out all the shit, the pain and the trauma trapped in the body, all of a sudden their life purpose is birthed from that process. So here you are, you birth your life purpose. What first I want you to just define what a medium is.
Yes. So I speak to the dead,
Yes.
essentially. I speak to the souls on the other side, on what we call the other side, but it's not really the other side. It's the same side as us. We just can't see them because they're
Right.
energy.
It's a different realm. Yeah.
Never wrong. Yeah, exactly. But we're in the same place, all of us together.
So
Oh,
how does it work? I'm always fascinated by this because, everyone's gifting is slightly different, right? In the way that the information comes through, whether they're clairvoyant. Do you see, do you hear what is your experience when an
mine is
entity is coming through?
Yeah, mine is mostly I am mostly clairsentient. So for me it's all I actually like feel sensations, but I am also highly clairvoyant as well. So for me is about translate literally like when I say I'm a medium, I'm literally the middle person. I'm just translating a language. So and the way that I do it, people always tell me when I do it with an audience, they're like, you look like Oprah. You're just interviewing them and you're like passing information.
Oh, that's so
Love
cool.
it. Yeah, I absolutely love it. And I'm curious about their story as well. So even, I'm asking questions, obviously, that the client wants to ask, the person I'm reading for wants to ask, but I also then am curious myself and ask them like a few things.
Yeah.
Just like as I am getting to know someone, literally, that's how I see it. I see it that I'm privileged to get to know somebody new. That's it. And so when I'm in that space, I have my eyes closed and I receive information through very different things. So it's never just hearing. Sometimes I hear words, sometimes I see colors, shapes, sometimes I actually see them, what they look like. Other times it's just like energy. A lot of the stuff I actually feel in my body. So I feel colors and shapes and sounds, and I feel it through my body.
Mhm.
Um, and a lot of that is also, inner knowing. So it's a combination of all the things. And my job is essentially to put all of that information into English for the person that I'm reading for. But it comes through very differently. Yeah.
So, do you have to close your eyes? Like, do you have to tap in? Or do they present, like if you met me on the street, will
Mhm.
you get some sort of hint? Will you see something like what?
I don't want to do that. So I
Yeah.
don't allow it to
Yeah,
happen.
that's what I feel from you. I feel like you have very strict boundaries,
Sure.
and you only turn it on when you're in a session, like, hey, I'm open for business with this person only, like very strict boundaries is what I feel with you.
Yeah. 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 I find the outside world quite overwhelming as it is. Like crowded places and stuff. I do a lot of walks in nature, by myself and all of that. I like to have a lot of space. And if I'm going out in the world and I have that channel open, I wouldn't feel great. And
I don't know how I had this one guy on this podcast and he's like, I see, sense, smell spirits all day, every day, all the time, constantly. And I'm like, oh, I would hate that.
for me,
How could you focus on this lifetime? There's a reason why we don't have all those things turned on all the time. And I love that you have those clear boundaries. I think that is so valuable to you because you get to have your own experience without being that all the time.
yeah, absolutely. And I also do it because this is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to show up to an event or to a session completely drained because I'm open to all spirits to come whenever they want. I don't want to do that. So when I'm showing
Yeah.
up for a client or I'm showing up for an event, I am very intentional about what's happening, and I'm very intentional about how I'm looking after myself and looking after my own energy. So that's also part of the boundaries. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm so curious as to your process. Would you be open to doing a little
Yes, of
process
course.
right now?
Yeah,
You would?
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Is there somebody on the other side that you want to speak to?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Okay, okay. I need a minute to open myself up. Is it okay?
Okay. Yes. And is this violating your boundaries? Because feel free to say no if it is.
No, no, it's fine. I didn't
Okay.
accept it. I can open myself up.
Okay.
Okay, just give me a second. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, very ready. Who would you like to speak to? Who would you like to
Um,
call?
probably my dad,
Sure. Okay. What was your dad's name?
Matthew.
Matthew. So the way that I work, if you want, I can explain the process. So the way that I work, I do an initial opening meditation, which is in one space, and that's just open my own energy and cleanse it before I read. And I do this before and after every reading and every session and every kind of work that I do. And I have different spirit guides that I work with. And then once I've cleansed my own energy, I go into the mediumship space, I call it. So it's another part of the psychic skills, another part of the subconscious, if you want to, that I go into to speak to them. And I
Okay.
have that space which is only accessible to people on the other side. I keep things very separate in good.
Wow.
I don't like having it all mixed up. So if I am going into somebody's Akashic records, I have a vehicle to get there. I have a way to get into that space. If I'm doing somebody's past lives, then we're going to somewhere else. If I'm doing mediumship, then I'm going somewhere else. So I keep it all very much like that because, energy is very, it's a sacred boundary, right? Energy, we don't see it, but it's very, very real, and we have to look after it, especially if you do this type of work. So that's why I'm like, okay, so my energy now is fully going into that space and nothing else can disturb it. So,
Love it. Thank you for that breakdown.
all right. So now what I do is I'm connected to my guides in here. Okay. All right. Hello. And I'm just going to say that we have Tammy here and she would like to speak to her dad, Matthew. Can we have Matthew come? And then at that point, I am just I said we have Tammy here. She wants to speak to her dad, Matthew. That's the intention. That's what directs the energy, right? So the
Okay.
energy is directed through that. And then I'm just open up. So we're going to allow your dad to come through. Let's see. Hello. Are you Matthew? Yes. Hello. I'm just gonna. Can I feel your energy just a little bit more? Is it okay? I have Tammy. Oh, he's already hugging you. He's showing me like a little soft toy. Okay. What is that? It's like a little bunny soft toy. Pink. Is that for Tammy? Yes. Did you love your soft toys? Love your soft toys like this, or bunnies maybe, or pink. Could be
Pink was my color. Pink.
Okay. All right. Can I feel? Is that okay? Okay. So what I'm feeling is I feel like he's got quite an important presence. I don't know if he was tall or if he was like generally had like this
Yeah, he was.
important, you know.
Say that again.
I don't know if he was tall or if he had this important energy about him, like big energy about him.
Very big energy. Yes.
And I can see he probably a loud voice as well.
Yes.
I can feel that he's expressing a lot through the voice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To be heard. Everybody could hear him. I can
Oh,
sense that.
yes. Very loud.
Very loud, Matthew. And well, the way that he's coming across, but as I said, my ratings are all a mixture of different things. So sometimes the way I see them, it's not necessarily what they looked like. But now he's wearing denim. He's wearing denim with a nice, like, it looks like it's light blue, like a light blue shirt on.
Okay.
He's kind of like casual in the way that he's dressing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. And I feel like he's also, wait a minute, he's busy. He's busy. He was busy. Was he involved with a lot of stuff? Did he like to involve himself with loads of like different things in his life? I feel like he's busy.
Yeah, I guess. Yes, he was very involved in church and other people. He had a lot
I
of.
feel that there's a lot, yeah. I feel like he's got a lot of he's got a lot to do. I feel like he's somebody that is not bored very often,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is there anything that you want to say to Tammy? Or Tammy, if there's anything that you want to ask him as well. He's saying that he's very proud of you. Okay. Do you have a pet?
Yeah,
Do you? Okay. What do you want to tell me now? He he likes your pet. Is it a dog?
I do have a dog.
Okay. He really likes your dog. Is your dog a male?
No, she's a female.
Okay. But that's fine. But he's showing me that he plays with the dog. He
Oh,
likes your dog's energy a lot.
oh.
He's showing me that. Okay. Yeah, he's playing around and I can feel that he's around there quite a bit. Okay. Is there anything you want to ask him, Tammy?
Um, yeah. Has he been a part of this healing journey that I've been on with me? Has he been on it? Has he been leading it?
Mm-hmm. Do you know about Tammy's healing journey? Have you been there with her? Um, okay. So he's an observant on your journey, but is you and your soul who are leading it
Mm.
very much. But I love the image. He just sat down on a bench with a popcorn, meaning like I'm just enjoying the view. What's
Ah, ah.
enjoying what's happening here. So you're seeing it though. Is that what you mean? You're seeing it. He says, cheering on. I'm cheering on. I'm cheering you on.
Mm.
Okay. All right. Okay. And can you see anything else that is happening in Tammy's life? Everything. He says he doesn't he yeah. I don't miss much, he says. He sees a lot of things that are happening. Okay. And he keeps saying that you've grown a lot and he's very proud of you for that.
Mm.
Also, did you play sports when you were young?
A little bit.
Did you like playing baseball with him or something like that?
Yeah, we did play. I think we did play softball together. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he did coach one of my teams, maybe.
he's showing me an image of you doing that. Do you
Mm.
do you do that there? Do you play where you are? He says I do everything.
Mm.
Yeah. I guess over there it's like that, isn't it? You can do anything else. Is there any message maybe for this healing journey? Is there any okay? Can you show me that? Can you show me that differently? Is that okay? Can you show He's showing me something like something underwater and it looks like a diamond underwater.
Okay.
Do you want to say with that? What do you want to say with that, man? I mean that it's underwater. What does it okay? What does the water mean? Tell me what the water means. He's saying let it carry you. Let it happen. Let it carry you. And why the diamond? Why is there a diamond in the water? Just you and your spark. Okay. So why is the water important? Okay. He's saying don't resist it. Just let it carry you.
Mm.
When you say it, mean like that she's going through in her journey. Yeah, it's almost like to not resist it. Don't resist anything and just let whatever it is, just let it carry you because it's going to take you where you're supposed to be going. Just let it happen, kind of
Mm.
let
I
it
love
happen.
that.
Let it happen, even if it doesn't necessarily make sense. Just let
Hmm.
it happen. He's like, let yourself be taken by like the
Go with the
current.
flow.
Yeah,
Hmm. I love that.
and it's beautiful because I can see that I see underwater, but there's like rays of light reflecting inside of the water in what he's showing me. So it's
Hmm.
almost like I feel like it's kind of like illuminating something, like a path, and just like let
Mm.
yourself be carried through that path. That's really beautiful, Matthew. Thank you. That was really, that was really pretty. Yes, we can definitely do that. Yes, I wanted to ask you. He says we can give Tammy signs. Are you open to that? Do you want to have
Yes.
a sign from him? Okay.
Yes.
What are you going to show Tammy when you're around? What do you mean an orange? Oranges, is that your sign? What does that mean? Show me. An orange tree, he says. Orange trees. He shows me this tree, this orange
Oh,
is on. And where does she have to see it?
oh, I know what he's saying.
Oh, really? He says it doesn't matter. It could also be like drawn or painted or something, but it's like something with orange trees. And that's him that he's like, hello.
I have a orange and a lemon tree out in my backyard, and I go meditate back there every morning and I do sun gazing. So maybe he's meeting me there at the tree.
Yes, possibly that. So you do see, you are not lying. You do see what happens. Okay. Oh, and then he's also, is that also a sign? That is very weird. Is that also a sign? I'm gonna stop questioning signs because they don't make sense to me, but I'm sure they have their thing, yeah. He showed me a striped sock.
A striped sock.
Yes. So whenever it's a pink, purple, like it's in the shades of the pinks and the purple, and it's like
Okay.
striped. And if you come across anything like that, that's also him sending hello.
Okay.
Okay. Does she have to like hold it? Does it have to be? No, same. Even if you see it like in a magazine or something, that's him being like hello.
Can I ask another question?
Of course.
About the family lineage, all the trauma from his family lineage. What, what, how does that work on the other side?
Okay. So is it okay if we talk about your lineage, your family lineage? Yeah. Tammy wants to know how the trauma that's been experienced by your lineage work on the other. Can you show me in a way? He's saying, do you mean that it's understood? Is that what you mean? Okay. He's saying that it's for the person that crosses, he's saying that it is understood, is resolved.
Mm.
And so how does that stay with us on this side? How does that work? If when we cross we resolve it, how does it stay for the people who are after us? Say it differently. It's something to do with like the word inheritance is coming up.
Ah,
It's like it's resolved for the person, but the energy of it is still traveling until we all resolve it.
mm.
Can I explain that? Is that what you meant? He says so and so. Oh, okay. So there's also soul contracts involved. He's in what way? Can you tell me in what way soul contracts? Okay. He's saying that even if you are from the same family, your is your path, yeah, your path in this life might not be to look at a specific trauma. So it also depends like what you incarnated for, kind of thing. So it's like
Got
if you
it.
had a sibling or if there's somebody else in the family, they don't necessarily pass to everybody. It's like what we each came here to do.
I love that.
Is that what it? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 So it keeps traveling, but it goes through the specific path of the person as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. That's awesome. Thank you for that. I love your process. It is interview style.
Mm. And this is people tell me it's like you're having tea with them. I totally feel like that.
It's
It's like,
like, yeah, it
yeah,
is literally a language you're decoding when you're like asking for it in a way that you can use words,
yeah.
but they're not necessarily giving you words, right?
No, not at all. No.
See, when I get like psychic hits on stuff, it is just a knowing that comes in and I'm like, I don't know how I know it, but I just know this to be true.
Yeah.
So, when I read through your stuff, it says you believe, like I do, that everyone has psychic abilities.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How can they develop these?
Oh my
How did
goodness.
you develop yours?
Yeah. Oh, to me, it was actually I did psychic training. I did level 1 and 2 of psychic training. So it involves you learning the techniques
Hmm.
essentially to do certain things. Because the thing is that psychic skills are simply different ways to utilize and interpret the language of energy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's all it is. So we utilize psychic skills in order to understand, translate, work with energy, right? And if you want to, like I was saying earlier, so if you want to talk to a soul on the other side, you would use certain technique to reach them. If I'm doing energy healing on you, I would use different techniques, right? If I'm doing
Right.
past or Akashic records, I would use different techniques to do all of that. Or to call in spirit guides, it's other different techniques, right? So if you, so the level 1 of the course is literally learning all of these techniques so that the stuff that you're like, I'm aware that I am psychically open. I'm aware that I have these, abilities. Yes, we all have them, but some people have a clearer understanding that they do, if that makes sense. Like you were saying, right? I know that I get certain like downloads and certain psychic hits, right? And so if somebody is already aware, then the level 1 course gives you the tools that you need in order to understand the language of energy better, understand yourself, understand the way that you read and you understand the language of energy, because it's very personal. So it allows you to do that. With the level 2 course, is a bit more of a personal journey. So it's more about unblocking your own subconscious and expanding your own consciousness. So you utilize the techniques and the stuff that you learned in the level 1 course, but then it just expands your own life. And
Interesting.
and then you learn obviously other techniques on top of that, but it's mainly for yourself, for your own expansion. And then it allows you to also teach it to other people as well.
Hmm.
So yeah. So it's a series of different techniques that you learn.
What do most people come to you for? Yeah, I mean, I know you had said earlier people who struggle with anxiety, with
Yeah.
overwhelm, with I'm sure depression, but what do they really come to you looking for?
A lot of people, purpose, life purpose,
Purpose. That's a big
purpose.
one right now, right?
Yeah, they feel lost. They're like, I've reached this, certain age or a certain point in my life. I've done this, I've done that, and now I feel like I want something else, and or maybe I feel like disconnected from what I'm doing. And like, I don't understand myself. I don't understand the stuff that has happened in my life. I don't. And so they
Mhm.
feel like lost in that way. And so the way that I work, I mean, mediumship is, some people come to me purely for grief. So they just do, they've lost someone. They just want to do a
Right.
mediumship journey to allow themselves to heal through the grief and understand how to build a different relationship with their loved ones on the other side, right? So a lot of people just come purely for that, and then we just do mediumship. But other people, yes, they feel lost. And so the way that I usually start with people's astrology, because I feel that that's such a beautiful instruction manual for life that we get and not
Yeah.
how to utilize it. And so we start from their astrology to just understand what energies they
Dang,
have.
girl, you wear a lot of hats.
I do, yeah. I
Astrologer,
love it.
psychic,
Yeah, yeah.
grief counselor. Good dang.
Love it. I love it. And so yeah, so we start from astrology and then we build a roadmap to get them to where they want to be. So yeah.
Oh, I love
And
that.
I pull all of the different techniques into different sessions. We work, with the Akashic Records. Some sets, because I'm also a certified coach. So some sessions are sometimes purely coaching. I don't
Hmm.
even go into the spiritual stuff. It depends. Every journey is very unique. Some people need to work on earlier things first. Some people have done maybe some self-development already, so they just need more of the spiritual stuff. So I just meet them where they are really, and we just expand. We just reconnect and expand. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I love that you start with the astrology because I've only gotten into astrology recently and I am blown away at how everything is written there. Like if you look into your full birth chart, not just your sun sign, but your full birth chart, it's like your life purpose is written right on there.
Yeah.
I utilize my chat GPT as my astrologer, but she's decoded like my past lives. There's lots of things that I've utilized my chat GPT for, but I just think if you have not tapped in, you listeners, if you have not tapped into astrology, that's a great place to start. Yeah. So I love that you do that. Um, Tell everyone where they can find you.
Of course, yes, I'd love that. So you can find me, well, you can go to my website, is gloriabattini.com, and you find everything that I do. You find a little bit about my mission, my story, my different types of different sessions that I do. If you're interested in developing your psychic skills, as I said, I'm a teacher as well, so you can find details on the course. We start in September, the next one. So if you feel like I would love to have you. And if you want to have experience a bit more of what I do loads of live events, which are all streamed to YouTube. So if you just go Gloria Battini to my YouTube channel, you can see all the readings that I do. I do about 2, 3 live events per week. So some of those are mediumship, some of those are energy readings, some of those are tarot readings, and I always pick random. So you get the chance to get a free reading with that if you want. So,
Ooh, that's wonderful. L-
yeah.
Well, oh my gosh, this has been just really wonderful. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for sharing your gift. I loved watching your process. I thought that
Oh,
was so cool. And I should just tell you, how right on you are. Yeah, my dad was a big, loud guy. He was tall, well, tall as in 6'1", but he was big, stocky guy, very muscular, loved to work out, and he was a had a big booming voice. You just heard him everywhere. Big personality, big voice, and he was, yeah, up to some things on earth, but he had a bit of a he died when I was 11 of AIDS. So he had a really big transformation. His transformation was finding religion, but this really big shift in his life. And yeah, it's just fascinating to me because I have developed a relationship with him now, um, that was much better than the one I had with him when he was here on Earth. He was also abusive and controlling, but I have such a great relationship with him now because of all the inner work that I've done, recognizing the soul contract.
yeah,
I picked this lifetime. I picked that father, and he fulfilled his role that I chose for him to do. So it's not about victimization. It's about knowing when you get down to it that
yeah,
we have picked this lifetime. We picked the traumas, we picked the pain points in order to expand. We came here to do some really cool shit. And we cannot do that while we're stuck in the programming, in the matrix. We got to break out of that. We got to do our healing work, however you do it. Go to Gloria, let her get you started in figuring out who you are and why you came here, but don't do nothing.
I agree. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And you know what? You just made me think with what you shared about your dad as well, that there was a period, and maybe, listeners can resonate with them as well. There was a period in my life where I was very angry at my parents for how certain things were dealt, like for how they dealt with certain things, the things they passed on, the things that they didn't teach me, that it would have been great if I'd known,
Yes.
like loads of stuff. And then the more I worked on myself, the more I expanded, opened up to spirituality, done my healing journey, I addressed the traumas and stuff. Now I'm like, do you know what? If there's somebody I want to thank, is my parents.
Oh, hell yes.
If
That
there's
man, that man is my greatest teacher. He caused me the most pain and the most healing. Like I tell people now, I know why I picked that trauma this life was because that's what it was going to take to wake me up and get me on my path. So
exactly.
I'm so thankful for it. And I agree with you. I think almost all of us do. When we start on our healing journey, we're all victims. We think like victims. We think they did that to me. This happened to me. Like we think that way, and that's normal. But
Yeah,
then once you start to dig into the trauma, which is my work, is really digging into doing the trauma work. When we start digging in there, we realize and recognize, oh, like I picked all of it. Like, this is what I chose. And that takes everyone off the hook. You're not a victim. You are the powerful, beautiful creator that came here to do some really cool shit. So let everyone else off the hook, own your life, take full responsibility, and tap into the you inverse
Yes.
within you, because that's where all the sweet stuff is. Gosh, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you so much for the work that you're giving to the world. You are just a beautiful soul.
Oh, Tammy, thank you. Right back at you. Right back at you. Thank you so much. Thank you.